What is up, guys? I'm Francis the instructor, and today we're going to talk about the manoeuvre pulling up on the right. So first thing, this manoeuvre was only added to the driving test in December 2018. So if you took your driving test before that time, you would not have been expected to perform this. I quite like this manoeuvre. I like that it's been added. It tests a couple of things that are really important. Number one is crossing traffic. Number two is reversing. It's not complicated reversing like parallel parking or reversing into a bay, but it does test your ability to control a car moving backwards on a live road. So on the face of it, this manoeuvre is not hard at all. You've been asked to pull up on the left loads of times. This should have been lesson 1 or 2 of your driving lessons. It's just the same. You mirror, signal, and then start to move across to the right, get into a good position on the curb, nice and parallel, and stop the car. Then you reverse back in a straight line. No dramas there at all. The reason it can be a little bit more complicated, and we'll run through this in a minute when I do a demonstration, is if there's an oncoming vehicle. So what I want you to do is imagine you're turning right. If you're turning right and there's an oncoming vehicle, because you've done this before, this should be lesson 3 or 4 for you. What would you do? Carry on or stop? Now, when you're doing this manoeuvre, it's going to be really tempting to carry on down the road, slowing down until the car's passed, but that's going to make it difficult. If you're too close to the bay or the parking space that you need to get into on the right, then you're either going to be not close to the curb or not parallel. So make sure that you stop nice and early, far away from the bay, so that you can attack the curb on the right at a nice shallow angle so that you can be parallel and close to the curb when you finish. So the next thing that the examiner is going to ask you to do is reverse back 2 car spaces. Now, this isn't a test of your maths ability, so don't worry about being exact and precise. If you haven't gone back far enough, the examiner will say, give me a little bit more, please. Or if you've gone back far enough, the examiner will say, thanks, hold it there, that's enough. Once you finish reversing, you'll need to pull away again into the flow of traffic. So doing this can be difficult if there's a lot of oncoming vehicles. If there isn't, nice and easy. So like when you pull away on the left, you need to wait till it's clear. How are you going to do that? Effective observations. Use your POM routine, prepare the car to go, observe all around. This time you're checking what's happening on the left-hand side, because your blind spot check needs to end with the roadside, the side that moves quickest, the side with the most danger. So this time, if you do a 3-point check, 1, 2, 3, end there. If you do a 6-point check, start from the curb and finish with the road. Okay, cool. Once you know that it's clear, signal to the left. I've had it a couple of times when people start off signaling to the right because that's what you're used to. It's a habit, it's built up. So just remember to signal to the left. If you mess it up a couple of times with your instructor, don't worry. That's what your practice is for. Practice it, left signal, and drive off again. That's it, manoeuvre done. Let's go and practice that now. So on your driving test, this is a great example of a road that they might ask you to pull over on the right on. It's not too busy. It's not a main road. It's not a really, really busy road, but it's not a dead road either. There's not going to be nothing happening on this road. We can see there's an oncoming vehicle. It's not super busy though. This is actually one of the roads that they use to pull up on the right in Morden. I'm near Morden Driving Test Centre at the moment, and here, when it's safe to do so, please pull up on the right. Okay, mirror check, signal, and nice and early. Not going to wait till I get too close to my bay. I'm pulling up and I'm starting to move across to the right hand side of the road. Excellent. I didn't wait until I was really close to the bay. I'm putting my handbrake on into neutral. Simple. Then the examiner is going to say, reverse back 2 car spaces. Okay, great. Prepare, reverse gear, 6-point check, making sure that I know everything around me. I've parked parallel. Now this is key. Because I've parked parallel to the curb, all I need to do is reverse back in a straight line. People make this super complicated and start fiddling with the steering wheel. Don't do that. Just reverse back in a straight line. If there's any oncoming vehicles going to pass me really closely, I'll stop for them, and I'm going to keep up effective observation. I'm going to glance in that mirror just to make sure that I'm not going to get too close to the curb. There's an oncoming vehicle, so as he gets a bit closer, I'm going to stop, acknowledge that there's an oncoming vehicle. He's passing me really closely, so that's really good. A good idea to stop for that. He's passing me really closely, so it's really important to stop for that. Okay, recheck before I move backwards, and I'm getting slightly further from the curb. I can see that because I glanced in the mirror. I don't need to look too much because I did park pretty parallel. The most important thing is keeping up those effective observations. So, quick glance in the mirror, perfect. And I'm safe. That's a good 2 car spaces backwards. Next thing the examiner is going to ask you to do is move off again. So, prepare, Straight away I can see there's a car coming from in front of me and there's a couple of cars coming from behind. So I'm going to pause for a second. After this white van in front, there's no more vehicles, and if I look round, there's nothing there either. So, signal left. Last thing I need to do before I move is check the blind spot, so I rechecked it again, and I'll move off. Nice and simple, that's your manoeuvre done. If you have to do this on your driving test, then you don't have to do any more parking into a bay, at the side of the road, or anything else. This is a dream. Perfect this with your instructor. If you get asked to do this, this is probably the easiest thing you can do on your driving test for a manoeuvre. So make sure you get it right. Okay, so let's have another example. Pull up on the right in a safe place. I've spotted my safe place. I'm signaling right and I'm moving across nice and early. Really shallow angle in towards the curb so that I can straighten up and be close and parallel. Cancel the signal, handbrake neutral, finished. Then reverse back 2 car spaces, and I'm off. Looking out for anything coming from a bit in front, which I need to stop for, looking out for anything coming from behind, and just generally looking out for pedestrians and cyclists. I glanced in the curb and I could see that I was getting slightly further away, so I adjusted, but on the whole, you need to keep your wheels straight. Really try really hard to park parallel to the curb so that you don't have to fiddle with the steering, because that just makes it much harder. You're going to have to look in the mirror a lot more to see where you are in relation to the curb, and your observations are going to be affected. You won't be able to look around as much as I did. The amount that I'm looking around is perfect. If you can look around as much as I do, that's perfect. If you need to look in this mirror a lot more, imagine the stuff you could miss. 1 second you're looking here, how fast does a car come down the road? On this road it's 20 miles an hour. There's a junction right behind me. If a car comes out of that junction and starts to turn right and comes towards me, it will take them about 2 seconds to get to me. So if I'm looking here for 3 seconds, that car could then potentially get past me while I'm causing an obstruction. Now I need to pull up on the right in a safe place. There are oncoming vehicles, so I will stop. I want to pull up exactly where that tree is. So because I don't want to get too close to the tree, I need to stop the car. If I then try and move further or creep forwards and not stop, I'm going to be too close and I won't be able to stop parallel or close to the curb. What's going to be really tempting if there's an oncoming vehicle is to slow your car right down. Yeah, 5 miles an hour is really slow, and it means that you'll approach that parking space a lot slower, but then there might be another car come down the road, and then there's another one, and then there's another one. And if your parking space is here and you're here, there's no chance that you're going to get into that neatly. If you keep creeping forward, you're going to mess up your manoeuvre. Imagine this is your house. You're not going to keep driving down the road because there's an oncoming vehicle. If there's a car behind you and you have signalled before slowing down, they know that you're about to do something unexpected. What they're expecting is obviously for you to drive down the road at a normal speed. But once you signal, they know something else is going to happen, like you're going to take a junction or park your vehicle. So make sure that you signal first before slowing down and then stop. It's your basic MSM routine. Comment below, I read through all the comments. If anything else needs explaining or anything didn't make sense, comment below and I'll do my best to make it make sense for you and explain it better. If there's any other videos you want to see, comment below. Follow me on Instagram at Francis the Instructor. Follow Get Licensed Driving School as well, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.